Okay, so get this right. Like imagine King Charles II.
Yeah.
Charles II, notorious for his, well, uh, romantic, escapades,
Uh-huh.
strutting into like the Love Island villa.
Oh, wow.
That's the kind of wild ride we're on today
Okay.
as we kind of dive into this podcast episode.
Yeah. Yes.
That reimagines historical figures
Interesting.
as contestants on like everyone's favorite guilty pleasure,
Oh, yeah.
reality show,
I see. Yeah, yeah.
Love Island, right?
Yeah.
So what I think is so intriguing
Mm.
about this whole approach is like how it uses this like,
Huh.
familiar, almost even lighthearted format
Mhm.
to,
Yeah.
explore some
Wow.
rather complex historical figures.
It's like sneaking in a history lesson,
Yeah, please.
while you're catching up on the latest drama.
Exactly. And you sent us this episode, right? So we know you're at least a
Mm.
little curious about how this whole historical Love Island thing like works.
Yeah, definitely.
So the podcast hosts, right,
Mhm.
along with their like very own Love
Yeah.
Island expert,
Okay.
they like break down the cast,
Yeah.
the potential couplings,
Yeah.
and even predict a winner. So
That's cool. And it's not just about the entertainment value either.
right.
I think this kind of like thought experiment can actually like reveal quite a bit about
Yeah.
how we even perceive like these historical figures,
Right.
their motivations and
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
their human flaws.
Absolutely. They're human flaws, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's meet our contestants then.
Okay.
So, like any good season of Love Island, right? We've
Mm.
got our archetypes. They've got the jester,
Right.
the devoted one,
Huh.
the other jester, and the accidental heartbreaker.
Wow.
Just for the guys.
Wow, that's a lot of
I'm already hooked.
jesters
I know two jesters.
and a heartbreaker.
I love it. Okay.
So, and each archetype is like, matched
Yes.
with a historical figure who,
Yep.
in some way embodies
Huh.
those traits.
Right.
So for the jester, they've chosen King Charles II,
Oh yeah.
good old Charles
The
II,
merry monarch himself.
the merry monarch.
Known for his love of parties,
Of course.
lavish spending, and oh yeah, those mistresses.
Yeah.
I'm picturing him like by the pool,
Yeah.
surrounded by admirers,
Totally.
cracking jokes,
Yeah.
and maybe even composing a saucy poem or two.
Wow. That's a good image.
Right.
It's a clever choice, I think, because
Yeah.
it kind of highlights that side of Charles II that often gets like, overshadowed by
Yeah.
his political role.
Yeah, absolutely.
The podcast actually like delves into some
does
fascinating details about,
Okay.
his escapades, his relationships with figures like the Earl of Rochester,
Okay.
and even how his nickname Old
Oh,
Rowley
yeah.
came to be.
Okay, so that's one jester down, but apparently we need another one.
Another jest.
I know, right?
Okay.
This time it's Peter the Great. Now he's a figure who like definitely knows how to like
Yeah,
make an entrance.
for sure. That's a good one. This is where the podcast host's daughter,
Yeah.
who's apparently a huge Love Island fan,
Oh,
really shines, I think.
oh, okay.
She points out like Peter's like larger than life
Yeah.
personality,
Yeah.
his love of pranks,
Right.
and his fascination with dwarves.
Dwarves, really? Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a guy who like
Mhm.
supposedly like impaled his wife's
Mm.
lover on a stake and like forced her to watch,
Yeah.
talk about bringing the drama. But the podcast also like
Oh.
explores kind of like
Yeah.
his softer side,
Yeah.
like his genuine affection
Mhm.
for his second wife, Catherine.
Right. So it's that complexity, I think,
Yeah.
that makes him such a
Yeah,
fascinating figure to consider in this context.
exactly.
He's not just a caricature of like a tyrannical ruler.
Right.
There's a depth to him, that the podcast tries to kind of like unpack.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the devoted one then.
Okay.
Sir William Hamilton.
Yeah.
Now this is where
Uh-huh.
things get a little juicy.
Oh, okay.
So Hamilton is like this fascinating case because his devotion to his wife, Emma Hart,
Mm-hmm.
later Lady Hamilton, leads him down a rather humiliating path.
Okay.
She becomes involved with
Mm-hmm.
Lord Nelson and Hamilton
Mm-hmm.
rather than like challenging the affair.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to like tolerate it, you know?
Really?
Yeah, so is he a pushover?
Mm-hmm.
Is he like a hopeless romantic?
Right.
Or is there like
Yeah.
something more to it?
Well, the podcast kind of delves into like, the social dynamics of the time, like the importance of appearances and how someone, like Hamilton might have like felt trapped by like
Yeah.
those societal expectations.
Right.
It's a poignant look, I think, at like the complexities
Yeah.
of love and loyalty,
Yeah.
even in the face of betrayal.
Now for our last male contestant, we have the accidental heartbreaker,
Okay.
Tony Benn,
Interesting.
a left-wing politician
Uh-huh.
on Love Island. That doesn't seem it's
Yeah.
like the most natural fit.
That's what makes it like such an
Mhm.
intriguing choice.
Right.
The podcast contrasts like
Yeah.
Ben's kind of like public persona
Hmm.
as this like, fiery
Mhm.
orator
Uh-huh.
and socialist like firebrand
Hmm.
with his deeply personal and quite touching relationship with his wife Caroline.
They actually read excerpts
Oh wow.
from his diaries, which are apparently just full of like raw emotion and like longing for Caroline, even like years after her passing.
It humanizes him, I think,
Right.
in a way we don't often
Yeah.
see with like, political figures.
Yeah.
We glimpse like a vulnerability, a capacity for like profound love that challenges kind of our
Right.
preconceived notions about someone like Tony
Yeah.
Benn.
And then there's the whole like late life crush
Yeah, and then there's that.
on Natasha Kaplinsky, the Strictly Come Dancing champion.
It adds like a touch of whimsy to his character, reminding us that even like the most serious figures have hearts capable of like unexpected flutters.
Okay, so we've met the lads. Ready for the ladies.
Bring on the bombshell.
Oh, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay.
We got to meet the female contestants first.
Okay, so who do we got?
So we've got the minx,
Okay.
the resilient one, the power-hungry one, and the out-of-place one.
Wow.
Sounds like a lineup
Yeah.
worthy of a Love Island season premiere. Let's start with the minx, shall we?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So who are they picking for the minx then?
Yeah, who's stepping into the role of, like, the minx?
Right.
I'm thinking, like, someone with a bit of a, mischievous streak, someone who's, like, not afraid to,
Right.
break a few hearts.
Well, they've chosen Catherine Howard,
Oh.
one of Henry VIII's, unfortunate wives.
Yeah.
And it's a rather insightful
Okay.
casting choice.
Catherine Howard, the one who, like,
Yeah.
ended up losing her head
Yeah.
over, like, an affair.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely sounds like Love Island material.
The podcast draws a parallel, I think, between like
Okay.
Catherine's upbringing
Mhm.
in this like rather scandalous environment of Norfolk House
Yeah.
and the drama-filled world of Love Island.
Yeah.
It's almost as if like, her early life was like this
Yeah.
Tudor era version of the show.
Okay.
With like secret liaisons
Right.
and a penchant for
Right.
indulgence.
So are they implying that, like,
Yeah.
Catherine was kind of, like, destined for a dramatic downfall?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
but they do highlight how her upbringing
Yeah.
might have like shaped her personality, her impulsiveness and her desire for attention.
Okay, let's move on to the resilient one then.
Okay.
I'm picturing, like,
Yeah.
someone who can, like,
Okay.
handle, like, anything the villa throws at them.
Yeah.
From, like, recoupling chaos
Yeah.
to, like, unexpected dumpings.
They've gone with Empress Zoe
Okay.
of the Byzantine Empire for this one.
Okay, wow.
And it's hard to argue
Right.
with their choice.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a woman who like
Mhm.
endured betrayals,
Yeah.
exile, and even like an attempted blinding.
Yeah.
All while like clinging to power.
We talk about resilience.
The podcast actually quotes a Byzantine historian. Oh, wow.
Who like describes her as having a physique that was firm and in good condition.
Okay.
Even in her later years.
Wow.
Sounds like she'd be giving the younger contestants a run for their money.
Yeah.
In like the challenges.
Exactly.
Right.
She's a figure, you know, who defies expectations. Someone who like refuses to be sidelined, you know?
Yeah.
Even when like faced with extraordinary adversity.
All right. Time for the power-hungry one.
Okay.
Who's like scheming their way to the top in this like historical Love Island villa.
Get ready for this one.
Okay.
It's Papaya Sabina.
Oh, okay.
The wife of Emperor Nero.
Right.
And she is like every bit as ambitious and ruthless as you might imagine.
Papaya, the one who like met a rather unfortunate end at the hands of her own husband.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he like kick her to death?
Yeah.
While she was pregnant?
The podcast emphasizes like her beauty, her extravagant lifestyle, and her like cunning use of manipulation to achieve her goals.
Okay.
They even mention like her penchant for bathing.
Oh wow.
In ass's milk.
Oh.
Yeah, to like maintain her flawless complexion.
Oh my gosh.
Now that's dedication.
Wow.
To beauty.
I mean, she sounds like the ultimate Love Island like villain, the one who's always like stirring the pot, like whispering in people's ears, plotting her next move.
It's interesting, I think, because the podcast suggests that her ruthlessness might have been like, you know, shaped by her own family history. Right.
Both of her parents met tragic ends due to like, you know, courtly intrigue.
Right.
So perhaps like she learned early on that power was the key to survival.
Okay, last but not least, we have the out of place one.
Okay.
This is like the contestant who doesn't quite fit the Love Island like mold.
Right.
But somehow manages to shake things up.
And for this one, they've gone with Mary Fisher.
Okay.
A 17th century Quaker.
A Quaker on Love Island.
It's a choice that immediately makes you like, you know,
I know,
pause and think.
Yeah.
Wait, a Quaker on Love Island. How does that even like work?
I know it does seem like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
What makes her fit the out of place archetype?
It's her unwavering commitment to her beliefs.
Even in the face of like extreme opposition.
Okay.
The podcast recounts how like, you know, she traveled the world spreading the Quaker message and enduring like, you know, imprisonment, floggings, and even accusations of witchcraft along the way.
Wow, that's some serious like dedication to her faith.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that would like translate to the Love Island villa.
Right.
But I admire her courage.
The podcast highlights like a particularly like striking anecdote about her attempt to convert the Ottoman Sultan to Quakerism. It speaks to like her boldness, her willingness to like challenge societal norms, and her belief in the power of her message.
Okay, so we've met our historical contestants, a rather eclectic bunch to say the least. But the real question is like, how do they like fare in the Love Island arena?
Right.
Who ends up like coupled up? Who gets dumped from the island? And who like wins the whole thing?
Well, that's where things get like really interesting. the podcast host's daughter, who they've like brought in as their Love Island expert, has some rather intriguing predictions.
Let's hear them. I'm already like picturing these historical figures navigating like the challenges, the recouplings, the inevitable drama.
So she starts by pairing Peter the Great with his like imposing presence and thirst for power with Poppaea Sabina, the equally ambitious Roman empress.
It's a match that makes like a certain amount of sense, a meeting of the minds, or perhaps a clash of the titans.
I can already imagine like the fireworks.
Next, she couples Catherine Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Our mischievous minx.
Right.
With Sir William Hamilton.
Okay.
The ever-devoted diplomat.
It's a pairing that's almost destined for, like, disaster, considering Catherine's history of, shall we say, straying from the path of fidelity.
Poor Sir William.
I know, right?
Always the one.
Always getting his heart broken.
Getting his heart broken.
Then there's Empress Zoe, our resilient ruler, matched with the fun-loving, party-loving Charles II. I wonder if like she'd be able to tame his wandering eye, or if he'd be like sneaking off for secret rendezvous.
In the hideaway.
Charles II on Love Island would be a recipe for chaos.
I can only imagine. The headlines.
And finally, the pairing that made me like raise an eyebrow. Tony Benn and Mary Fisher. A socialist politician. And a devout Quaker.
It's an unexpected match, to say the least.
Maybe opposites attract. Or maybe the Love Island producers are deliberately trying to like create some drama.
Now remember, this is Love Island. Things are never that simple.
Exactly. That's where the that's where the bombshells come in. Who are they throwing into the mix to like shake things up?
Exactly.
The first bombshell to like enter the villa is a figure who needs like no introduction. Admiral Horatio Nelson. One eye, one arm, and a string of victories.
Against the French. He's practically a legend.
And let's not forget, he had a rather famous affair. With Lady Hamilton, Sir William's wife. Talk about a recipe for drama.
I know, right?
So is history gonna like repeat itself in this Love Island scenario? Who do you think he's gonna set his sights on?
Well, the expert predicts that he'll be like drawn to Catherine Howard. Which given like their historical connection, makes for a rather delicious twist.
I know.
Like Nelson has a type. And unfortunately for Sir William, it's not working in his favor.
Poor Sir William.
Poor Sir William.
Always a bridesmaid, never the bride. But wait, there's another bombshell, right?
Oh yes, and this one is like a real curveball.
Get ready for Saint Catherine of Siena.
A saint on Love Island. Now that's something I never thought I'd see.
Wow.
What's her like game plan? Is she there to spread the word of God, or is she looking for love in a hopeless place?
The podcast describes her as a blood-drinking, Christ-marrying mystic.
Wow.
Known for her like dramatic visions and unwavering devotion.
It's a wild card pick.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how she'd like fare in the villa, but it would definitely make for some interesting conversations.
I can only imagine like
I know, right?
I'm just imagining like I'm not here to win. I'm here to save souls.
Right. The expert suggests that she'll be like brought in specifically to test Tony Benn's loyalty to Mary Fisher.
A battle of the devout, if you will, socialism versus sainthood.
Okay, so we've got our couples, we got our bombshells. The drama is unfolding, but who like makes it to the final?
Right.
And more importantly, who wins the hearts of the British public and becomes the Love Island champion?
Well, after much speculation and analysis, the expert predicts that the final two couples will be Peter the Great and Poppaea Sabina, a power couple if there ever was one.
Right.
And surprisingly, Tony Benn and Mary Fisher.
Wow, that is a twist.
Right.
The quiet, unassuming couple, like, takes it all. What does that say about the state of the nation, I wonder?
The experts suggest that like it might, reflect a yearning for authenticity, a desire for like something more substantial than fleeting fame and superficial charm.
Or maybe people just love an underdog story.
Right.
Either way, I'm sure the newspapers would have a field day with this outcome.
Oh, yeah.
Quaker and socialist triumph in Love Island Shocker. Can't you just see the headlines?
I know.
This whole exercise has been a fascinating journey.
Yeah.
You've taken these like historical figures, placed them in a completely unexpected context,
right,
and discovered like new facets to their personalities, their motivations, even their vulnerabilities.
It reminds us that like history isn't just about like dates and battles.
Right.
It's about like people.
Right.
Their passions, their flaws, and their triumphs.
Right.
And sometimes it takes a bit of like, unconventional thinking.
To like breathe new life into those stories.
So we leave you with this thought.
Okay.
If you could put together like a historical Love Island cast, who would you choose? What archetypes would they represent?
Yeah.
And what kind of drama would unfold?
Do some research.
Yeah.
Explore those historical rabbit holes, and you might be surprised by what you discover.
And if you come across any like fascinating sources, send them our way. We'd love to take another deep dive with you. Until next time, happy exploring